Hello there, what is going on everyone? Today I'm talking about what to buy first when on a budget for Star Wars Legion, the Shadow Collective. If you're a fan of Mandalorian Super Commandos led by Darth Maul with the Pike Syndicate as well as Black Sun, this is the faction for you. Well, I say faction, they're more of a battle force, but it feels more like a sub-faction really. They're a very substantial battle force, and for a lot of people, an entry point into Star Wars Legion. This is going to be a buyer's guide that focuses on this is if you're a new player just getting into the game, but if you're an existing player, there's still going to be a lot here that we're going to talk about, and I'll try to make some distinctions between certain things that are more recommended for new players versus things that maybe existing players might be able to skip. So I'm going to talk about all of that in this video. If you guys are new here to the channel, I do talk a lot about Star Wars and tabletop gaming. We're doing a big giveaway in December, so you got plenty of time left to enter to win. It's the 12 Days of Life Day. Little teaser for that too. One of our first sponsors is going to be Imperial Terrain, who is going to have some pretty cool STL gift card options for somebody who might be watching right now. So make sure if you want to enter to win any of our 12 Days of Life Day prizes, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Make sure you mash that subscribe button. Stick around, like the video, share the video. Check the links in the description below too. Very cool stuff. Imperial Terrain actually has a lot of cool new stuff going on right now with the sand skiffs as well. And I mean, you should definitely check it out. I'm going to talk more about that in another video, but very cool stuff. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and start talking about what to buy first when on a budget for the Shadow Collective. So obviously if you're an existing player and you already have a core set, that's great. If not, this is going to be your starting point. The Shadow Collective starter set, it is a Battle Force box basically. It has the stuff that you need to run the Shadow Collective, but not everything that you need to play the game. But it's a lot cheaper than one of the core sets. So if you're looking for a two-player starter, this is not going to do it for you. If you are looking for a two-player starter, you know, maybe you want to look at one of those Galactic Civil War core sets or the Clone Wars core set. There's a lot of those out there that have a little mini army for two players to play the game and kind of learn and grow the game together. And if that's your case, then definitely check out my What to Buy First for the other factions. I'll put links to those at the end of the video. But the Shadow Collective starter set is a great box with tremendous value. It's only a single army starter, but it's got Darth Maul, well, Lord Maul. He's not a Darth anymore. He's not a Sith, apprentice anymore. He is leading the criminal underworld. It comes with a whole unit of Black Sun, a whole unit of Pikes, plus a leader for the Black Sun and a leader for the Pikes, and it has a whole unit of Mandalorian Super Commandos. Like, there's a ton in this box. It's really cool stuff. You have multiple options on how you want to do Maul as well. So you can have him with his double-bladed saber, well, his refined double-bladed saber from like later in the Clone Wars. You can have him with the dark saber if you want. There's a lot of different ways to build him out. Also, as far as Mandalorian Super Commandos, a lot, but not everything in this box is available separately as its own individual expansions. But the Mandalorian Super Commandos will come with Rook Casts as well, who is an optional heavy weapon that can be equipped into that unit. And she does not come in the Mandalorian Super Commandos box. So you're getting tremendous value here. And I want to point out there are other individual expansions for these. And while that may be an option, there's definitely a lot of incentive to pick up more than one Shadow Collective starter set when you're starting. I generally will tell people if this is a faction you really like, get at least two of these because the value is so great. This is not going to be enough for you to build a full army. It's just not. It's not enough points there. Even if you take all the upgrades, you're just not getting enough points to build out a full army. But if you get a second box, you're going to really fill out that army. You're going to have 2 units of Pikes, 2 units of Black Sun, 2 Mandalorian Super Commandos, and Maul as well. You got a lot of different leader options there because each of the Pikes has a leader that can go in the unit or be its own leader for your whole army. You have a lot of great options there. Also, the value, the Pikes on their own are $35. I'm talking MSRP here. The Black Sun on their own are $35. The Mandalorian Super Commandos on their own are $35. And not to mention, you're getting, you're getting 3 expansions worth that would be $35 each for only $70. So it's basically for the price of 2 expansions, you're getting a 3rd expansion free, plus unique Rook cast, plus a unique Darth Maul, plus some upgrade cards and all this other stuff. It's a really great option. And the value is just tremendous. Plus, I mean, it's at a $70 box. You probably will be able to find it slightly on sale, depending on where you shop. There's a lot of different avenues out there. Whether you're doing online retailers or your local game store, and maybe they're doing Black Friday sales. There's going to be lots of ways to get this a little bit cheaper. Speaking of Black Friday sales, I want to talk about Luxury Playstyle. Our sponsor today, they have amazing Full Metal tokens that are compatible with games like Star Wars Legion, X-Wing, lots of your favorite games. Definitely head over to luxuryplaystyle.com, check them out. They are having a big Black Friday sale. If you use code Crabbok VIP, it normally is going to save you 15%, but on Black Friday this year, which is a week from today, so next Friday, this is going to save you 25% off of Legion and X-Wing tokens, as well as L5R, 20% off of everything else in the store. So this code is going to be supercharged on Black Friday. Plus, orders that use this code that spend $35 or more while supplies last get a free Crabbok token thrown in there. So definitely head over to Luxury Playstyle, check out these amazing tokens. And they don't do sales very often, folks. So this is your chance. Get your Christmas presents in early. Order those things for yourself, birthday presents for the whole year. Get your year's shopping done. Do it all, on Black Friday. Use this code and take advantage of that savings while you can. It's very cool stuff. All right, so after you've got your Shadow Collective starter set, you're also going to need an Essentials kit. Now, this is going to be one of those deals where if you're an existing player, you can probably skip this. But if you're a new player coming into the game, the Essentials kit is something you're always going to need no matter what you buy, because this has all the basic core materials you need to play the game. Your range, your movement tools, your objective tokens, your basic your basic generic order cards, your command cards, like all of that really basic stuff. Plus, it has the cool little skirmish cards that normally you don't always get unless you get them from an OP kit or something like that. So very cool stuff. So definitely check out the Essentials kit for new players only, unless you're an existing player and you really want the skirmish cards and don't want to print them yourself, or if you need spare. Actually, the range tool that comes in here is far superior than the range tools that come in the original starters. So the Essentials kit's actually not bad if you're an existing player also. But yeah, this is going to have dice and things like that too. So Essentials kit's not a bad buy if you're an existing player that just wants to upgrade your components a little bit or refresh them a little bit for some of the plastic and the essential tools. But really, this is more of a must-have for newer players, because this is something that you would only get in the regular core set normally. And a lot of stuff that doesn't come in the Shadow Collective Battle Box. The upgrade card pack is definitely, it's not as crucial, but it's very cheap. It's only $9.95, and usually you can find this. This was a pack that came out when Clone Wars first came out. There was a lot of upgrade cards in here that were only available for this unit, that unit, and sometimes you'd have to hunt down or buy something across the faction, and maybe you were interested in only playing the Republic and didn't want to have to go back and buy old upgrade cards or that were only found in this one box. Now, this is kind of lower on the priority list, but I show it early enough because it's so cheap that, again, if there's a budget video, you're still going to get some good stuff in here. Now, some of the upgrade cards that are found in this pack, some of them do come in the Shadow Collective starter box. You get a little bit of upgrades in the Shadow Collective starter box. So this is something you can skip if you want, but there are still some really good cards in here, and plus duplicates of some of them as well. But there's going to be some cards in here that do not come in the Shadow Collective starter box, and you might not want to have to go track down, where can I get a copy of Commanding Presence? Where can I get a copy of Forced Guidance or something like that? And now all of a sudden you can get that here. So that's a good thing. Let's talk about Gar Saxon. He is a commander. If you're doing more of a Mandalorian-focused build for your Shadow Collective, he does not come in the core set. He's a standalone expansion only works in the Shadow Collective, and he's very cool. A great way to run him in the Shadow Collective is with Mandalorians. He's a great option if maybe you want to try a different build and not, instead of running Maul, you want to focus more on Mandos. He gives you an option, or you can run him and Maul, because Maul can run as a commander or an operative. So it gives you some flexibility and different commander options. Granted, you already have Pike commanders, you already have your Black Sun commander. You didn't have like a Mandalorian commander. Rook Cast did not fit that bill. For whatever reason, she's just a heavy for regular Mandalorian super commandos. So Gar Saxon kind of comes in as your Mandalorian commander, and he's got the whole sniper configuration going on. He's got the shield. He's got some different build options. He's super cool, and he's cheap too. So a great way to kind of grow your army a little bit with him. Another way to grow your army and diversify a little bit is with the Swoop bike riders. These didn't even come out until after the Shadow Collective hadn't been out for a little while. So this is a great way to add some vehicles to the mix for not a super tremendous price and just vary your list building a little bit with the Swoop bike riders. Now, they do have a little bit more of a learning curve because they have this whole, like, they're going to drive right through somebody and then they get to do an overrun attack. And there's a little bit of finesse in trying to like make sure that you can maximize their potential, but they're still pretty fun and cool. And there's a lot of objectives that really feature vehicles and fast-moving speeder bikes. You tend to work pretty well in this game, so they're kind of cool. So definitely check out the Swoop bike riders. Again, you're trying to get that whole scum and villainy thing going on, and they work pretty well with that. Now, here comes the difficult part. One of the best upgrade card packs, well, one of the best things you can get is the upgrade card pack 2. It's a little more expensive than the original upgrade card pack. I guess that's just an inflation mechanic there. It's $12.99 instead of $9.99. But this thing is sold out. It's been sold out for a while, at least as of the time of me recording this. So if you can find this, definitely pick it up. There's a lot of different things you're going to get in this pack. You get a lot of upgrades that are even more, like time has passed, and like, hey, here's a whole lot of upgrades that are going to, be great if you're a Shadow Collective player. But you're also getting new cards. Now, this is a tremendous value for somebody who actually has stuff already, because there's new versions like mercenary cards that are basically upgrades to a lot of the existing characters like Boba Fett and Cad Bane and Bosk, and the AA5 Speeder Truck is a card in here that'll allow it to work in Shadow Collective and stuff like that. However, I think a lot of people, when you're playing, unless you're playing in like a high level tournament or something like that, but for casual games, people usually will allow you to print out the card and just use that. If you can find it online or in a list builder or something like that, or just proxy the card for something else while you're learning the game, because these are so hard to find. It would be kind of, for an opponent to force you to have to actually have the card, even for a casual game, I don't know if too many people would really force you to have it. But if you want to play in a tournament, you're going to need the actual cards. And this is one of those card packs that just has a ton of value in it. A lot of great cards in here, but it's been sold out for a while. So good luck trying to find it. It might end up being more expensive if you have to try and eBay it or something like that. So, I wouldn't, I'm sure it'll come back into print eventually, so I wouldn't go crazy over it, but this is a really good pack. Now, once you get it, you might want to consider Bosk, because you can run him in the Shadow Collective. And he was originally launched as an Imperial expansion, but now he's a Merc, and he can go in a couple of other factions, which is pretty cool, especially if you're a multi-faction player. The same thing goes for Cad Bane. Was initially launched as a Separatist, but now he's a Merc. His Merc card is in that upgrade card pack 2. He also can go in Shadow Collective. Pretty cool stuff. So depending on which bounty hunter's your favorite, both Cad Bane and Bosk, both can fit the bill and kind of spicing up your Shadow Collective armies a little bit with some bounty hunting. I'm personally more of a fan of Bosk with his longer range and regenerative capabilities. I think he's pretty cool. But I mean, it's hard to argue with Cad Bane. A lot of people really like Cad Bane, and I think honestly, you just go with whatever you like here, or why not both? There's nobody says you have to only pick one. Moving forward, the AA5. Now, this one's a little bit later in the list. This is an expensive expansion. This is more expensive than the Shadow Collective box. So this is something a lot of people might pass on. But I wanted to include it because if you've picked up the card pack 2, there is a card in there that is going to turn the AA5 into, from being a Rebel truck to being a Shadow Collective truck. And this is a very good truck to run with the Shadow Collective, especially if you're running Black Sun, because it's a bus that can get the slow-moving but powerful Black Sun from the back to the front of the battle very, very quickly. And so if you're a fan like me of the Black Sun, then this is a really good one. Plus, it has all kinds of other cool stuff it can do. You can outfit it. You can make it into like an ambulance that's going around healing people, or you can put a big gun on it, or you can have it like run people over and put a crazy, super fast driver on there that's, trying to do all kinds of chaos in the battlefield. A lot of cool stuff that you can do with the AA5 Speeder Truck, and it's a really good model. Like, honestly, like, it may not be for everybody. It may not be everybody's favorite design, because it looks a little bit like a Spaceballs kind of Winnebago, but as far as actually having assembled one, painted them, it's a really good model. It's one of the best vehicles that they've done, honestly. I personally really like this truck, so I recommend it, but I also acknowledge that it's awfully expensive. All right, it's very detailed. It's got a whole interior, and then the cool thing is, like, the top, you don't have to glue the top on, and if you don't, it does kind of sit real nicely, so you can always like open it up and then like look at the interior, put minis in there, and you can just like, you can play with it. Like, it's cool, man. Like, you can tell I like this thing. Hopefully you can tell I like this thing. All right, moving forward. I did mention there are individual packs of some of the stuff that comes in the Shadow Collective box. So let's start off talking about the pikes. Now, you're already going to get an order of a full, you're getting everything that comes in this box in the Shadow Collective starter set. So you won't really need this, like, unless you just need one more pike unit, and that's it. Because if you need more than just this, then you're better off just buying another Shadow Collective starter box. But let's say, maybe a semi-realistic, like kind of like what I've done, is maybe you buy 2 Shadow Collective starter boxes, but you want more pikes. Like, maybe you want just one more pike or just one more Black Sun, right? Then maybe you could pick up just one more pike, because that would then be cheaper than buying, a third Shadow Collective. But if you want more, still, that's the idea here. Is it's like, only if you really just need that one more unit, might you do this. I think there's definitely the option of, if you want to min-max on all pikes or all Black Sun or something like that, it would be more cost effective for you to split core sets or starter boxes with somebody else. I had this dream at one point of running an entire Black Sun army of all Black Sun, but I didn't want to buy 6 boxes of Black Sun, so I was trying to find people to trade, split core sets up with, and like, here, you take the pikes, I'll take the Black Sun, and then we can, every other, Mandalorian, we can, divvy up and stuff like that, because there's a whole lot of content there. But this is good if you only need one more pike. And honestly, I did the pikes first because they're really good. Like, if you are looking for, if you're a new player, I would probably suggest going with the pikes first, like leaning a little bit more into more pikes than anything else, because they have a longer range, and they're pretty strong. They've been adjusted a little bit to be a little more expensive, but they're pretty strong and survivable. Next up is Black Sun. Again, same price, $35. And basically costs half as much as a starter box does that has 3 expansions. But I'm a big fan of Black Sun. They're slow moving, but they hit and they have short range. But if you can get them, close enough to the enemy, then they really, they pack a wall up, and they're super fun. I like them, and they're probably one of my favorite units in the game. I love Black Sun. I love the look of Black Sun too, and I really hope we get Zor one of these days. I'm really hoping for that. It'd be super cool. So and then last but not least, the Mandalorian Super Commandos. I put these guys on the tail end because this one is probably the least good value and is only really worthwhile if you really just need another Mandalorian Super Commando unit. Definitely don't buy, a Pike box, a Black Sun box, and a Super Commando box, because now you've spent over $100 on, you could have gotten all that for only $70, plus an extra Rook cast, because this box doesn't come with Rook cast, and so it's a little bit less value than the other two, because you're getting less than what you would have gotten in the core set. So this is only if you were just like, if you've got all the Mandalorian Super Commandos you need and you just need that one more unit, you could consider doing this. Now, if you've got your Shadow Collective Army built. There's a few other extra things you can consider. The Vital Assets pack is a battlefield expansion pack, has awesome new mission objectives and some terrain options that are going to go into those objectives. The terrain stuff is fun. You can still use objective tokens instead of these, but these kind of help spice up the visual aspect of it. But really good objectives that helped change the game. Additionally, the Priority Supplies is another battlefield expansion. Now, not all of the battlefield expansions are ones that you're going to want. A lot of them are terrain with like some kind of scenario that doesn't really have tournament play ramifications. But the Priority Supplies and Vital Assets both do. I say Vital Assets first because it has a couple of different scenarios with a lot of different battle cards, different objectives and scenario and conditions and deployment cards. Whereas Priority Supplies only has one of each of those, so it has a little bit less content in this one, but they are very good. It's a really popular objective, deployment, and conditions, so they're very good ones that get used a lot, especially. Especially the moisture evaporator scenario, and that's definitely a popular one. Last but not least, maybe another dice pack. This is only for somebody who deliberately only wanted a single Shadow Collective starter, and you're going to need more dice. Alternatively, what's going to be cheaper than another dice pack, like the dice app for your phone, is definitely an option. I don't even know if that's actually for sale anymore. I shouldn't have even mentioned it because who knows if it'll still be by the time people are watching this and if it'll still be out. But they don't give you enough dice. Most of us who've been playing for a long time will have accumulated a larger collection of dice. But if you're just starting out and you just buy the one Shadow Collective box, it's going to give you like 3 dice of each type, but there's so many different types of attacks that want more than that. Then at least one more dice pack will get you most of what you need to do. If not, you can always just record your results and then roll more dice. Like if you got to roll 6 red attack dice and you've only got 3, roll 3, write down what they were, then roll 3 more, write down what they were, and that's your roll, and then do your any re-rolls from there. And you can always make it work, but it's nice having lots of dice, especially when you get really big attack pools. It can be really fun to just roll like a fistful. But yeah, again, it's just yet another reason why. I would say another Shadow Collective. This actually, I misspoke because this one doesn't actually come with the dice. It's if you buy multiple starters, the Galactic Civil War starters and the Clone War starters actually come with the dice. The Essentials kits will come with the dice. So if you wanted to buy a second Essentials kit, maybe, because it's going to come with dice. It also has extra maneuver tools and things like that. I think if you're an existing player and you've got other core sets, you're not going to need any of this stuff. But if you're just starting out, I mean, a second Essentials kit might be a thing, but that's more of a thing where you might be like, you know what, let me pick up an extra dice pack also. I like having lots of dice. Sometimes you lose one, two, or they roll under the table. But yeah, so I misspoke. You're not going to get a second dice pack in the Shadow Collective if you're buying another starter box. But you are going to get all the other things you need to play in the Essentials kit. So that's basically everything. Hopefully that has been a good primer in getting you kind of started on where to go, what to buy, and how to get started into playing Star Wars Legion as the Shadow Collective. Hopefully you guys found all of this useful, and hopefully you will stick around, and we'll see you soon. There's lots more Star Wars Legion content to come. We got a lot of new content coming out in 2024, so stick around and we'll be with you every step of the way. We'll talk to you guys later. Big thanks to all you guys watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are out of this world and help make this channel possible. Thank you so much for your continued support. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other, and always wash your socks.